See the treasurer.
I thought he was too.
Oh,
You
no.
come in and I'll leave.
Okay, bye, boys.
Bye.
We miss you already.
Oh, yeah, we got Paul too. We still have another one.
Where?
Another one what?
The
Paul's in-
planning board.
Oh, that Paul. Well, good, you came just in time, public participation.
I printed out something earlier, and I'm definitely not gonna bring it up in today's meeting.
I did.
And I paid my $1.25, but this was
Yeah.
online, so I'm just gonna leave it with you, okay?
I didn't find.
It's, It's a course
Maybe I wasn't.
where New Hampshire teaches you how to check out the boats and stuff.
I don't have it in front of me, so I can't.
We're in Maine, so I'm gonna call them to ask them, you know, we share a lake, you know, make sure there's no weeds and stuff on the boat. You could just have that,
Yeah, I thought so.
something to read.
Yeah, it was good job.
No, I know,
That's how I.
people
learned
put them in people's yards.
certain things and-
Mighty Joe's doesn't check. They put them in on my road,
We got a lot.
like you can't put the boat in my yard. It's too much of a hill. But that's for New Hampshire, maybe they'll let someone from Maine come in.
Oh, you printed off that thing I
Yeah, and
sent
I
you?
paid for it too.
You did?
Yep.
How much?
$1.25. I'm gonna have to start a tab here. I just plugged a PC into my,
State of New Hampshire's offering for free, yeah, to turn boating inspectors, to inspect the boats going into the lakes. We're gonna try to see if we can go, even though we're Maine residents, we share a lake with them, so.
Okay.
I always said, can I take your boat for a ride first?
We have to inspect it, see if it goes
This is
fast
all your
enough.
position,
Yeah, let me try this
little
jet ski.
cruise would be excellent.
Okay, we have the planning board stuff in a little bit. So we had something else first? Yeah.
Are you back?
All right, so what's going on? We're back and we're open.
I second.
Okay. Go ahead, Deborah.
So, my question is regarding, and not personal information regarding, but regarding what, I just watched take place in here, the lady that came in about her property that had been foreclosed on. So, the board has set a precedent with allowing people to make payments and, get their property back. I'm not finished. So I was very curious as to why that wasn't offered to her and why she was sitting here squirming about her property. Now I'm done.
I have no comment on that now or until I've had a chance to look into this like I promised her I would do in that very same meeting you're talking about.
It's not the same case as the others.
Correct.
Right,
Okay,
that we understand.
okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments or?
Just a comment.
Go ahead, Mr. Howell, how are you?
How are you? A couple of questions.
Be
So I've got-
careful, I'm in a delicate position tonight.
Okay. I'm not 100% positive. What is the rule about ordinances? Are you guys allowed to change them?
The only way an ordinance can be changed, to my knowledge, is to a vote of the people of the town
Okay.
on the ballot.
Okay. That was my understanding.
It's
so I
an
wanted- I
actual,
wanted to
an
verify.
actual ordinance, that's the only way you can change it. That
Okay,
I know.
so then my next follow-up question to that is then why did you guys change an ordinance last week?
Oh, boy. I suppose it was probably during the meeting I was the chair of, right?
It was.
What is the one that's in?
So it was the code enforcement officer's ordinance.
Just a minute.
You guys changed, I've got the ordinance here, you can get your official copy if you want. But where it talks about fees, it says here, fees for starting construction without a permit shall be double the permit fees of or $100, whichever is greater.
Oh,
And you guys made it a policy to fine them $200 and double the permitting fees.
I wonder.
So this was already addressed in the ordinance, and so therefore you changed the ordinance by you guys passing it.
There wasn't any talk of doubling.
Yes, there was.
There was?
There was a notice he wanted to hand out.
Yeah, that was just a notice that he wanted to hand out.
Nope, you guys
No, I don't think
authorized
you
a
realize.
fine of $200, I saw it on tape.
Excuse me, Royce, if I might. He handed you the notice. He wanted to put it with all of the building code information. So when people come in and they want a building permit, they have to fill out an application. That notice is now going out with the informational packets for building permits, and it says clearly on it that if you start without a permit, it's $200 and double the permitting fee, which clearly cannot happen because it's in the ordinance right there. Yeah, oh, Jen will probably have a copy of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I read, that's how I listened to the video, that's how I listened to it, and that's what I took away from it. You then change the policy of the ordinance for what happens when you're late, or you build without a permit.
Okay, I think you got a point, I think it's a very valid point.
So,
And
and then the
what
other,
I would like to do is buy myself some time to
Nope,
deal
nope.
with this.
the other
Because we're gonna have
half of
this.
that, which is I would like you guys to please look into the fact that your code enforcement officer doesn't know the ordinance that he's supposed to be enforcing.
Apparently, we didn't realize either. So,
Well, but
because
again,
we did do
it's,
a vote on it.
it's not necessarily, this was brought to you by the code enforcement.
Correct.
This is the first line of anybody, of any of your department heads, if they have an ordinance. This governs his whole entire job. So if he has that question, my thinking is that I would go to the ordinance to see if it's already in there. If it is, great. If it's not, then I would submit either to do that, or I would submit to you guys, do we want to institute this now, or do we want to put a referendum out there to change the ordinance to add this? And leave you, that's how I think it should have been brought
I
up.
think using the word ordinance is maybe where we're going wrong here too. I like to look at the stuff that the selectmen vote on as not an ordinance, but
I mean, this is an ordinance.
as a policy.
But that's an
Which
ordinance,
is a different thing, right?
that's an ordinance that was voted on last May.
So you can't,
That was voted on, yeah, that was voted on the town meeting, okay.
That's right.
All right.
you can't, what I'm
We
saying.
can't change
What I'm
that.
saying is you can't make a policy that changes the ordinance.
The only way we can change it is we could,
You can
we
do a
can take
referendum
what
on it,
he's
so you don't
done.
have to change it.
Yeah, we can make that into an article and put it on and hope that the people would.
But again,
Would-
why
the
are you
people
putting
would have
what's
to
already
vote.
being addressed here? Does it need to be more? There was never that discussion.
I think the idea was that you have people that ignore, they'll get a permit and then they'll work for a while and then they'll forget about what's going on with it.
That doesn't affect this. This is building without a permit.
Right.
So if they already have a permit, that doesn't affect us. And what I'm saying is that you're trying to penalize people that maybe didn't know that they needed a permit just to build a little shed out there.
Well, nah, we can't go there, but,
Well, we haven't, because in the past, we haven't had needed
well,
those
in some
permits.
cases, yeah.
Up until this, which was last year, so now you want to start, so my point is then, so therefore, what are we doing to communicate to all the residents about what permits are needed? There's nothing on the website, nothing on the code enforcement page about what you need permits for and what you don't.
Then I guess we're gonna have to.
No communications.
Yeah.
So you can't, how are you gonna find people for, if they want to look, their only option is to come here and ask them.
Well, no, they can go on my Facebook page.
People don't know that.
So, did you have what he,
I did this, the notice that he gave out.
did I read that correctly then? If permit is pulled after the fact, after the fact,
Yeah,
it's subject to a $200 fine, double it. So again, that's basically illegal because that goes against the ordinance. You didn't change the ordinance.
okay, we'll have to dig out the ordinance and go all through that. Check it all
Give them
out.
the ordinance.
Thank you.
And do you want my copy or do you want to get your own copy or
I think Jen can probably get us a copy.
you want it? Okay.
Oh, you want it? All right, good.
That way I can clarify.
25 page.
Exactly.
Chip, we thank you.
Thank
for
you,
bringing
sir.
that up. Oh, let's see, is there any other? Is there any other thing you'd like to discuss, audience?
Mary?
No, I'm not gonna give that to him tonight. I think he's got enough on his plate. That's why I gave it to Paul. I'm not gonna try to kill him.
I actually have something. In light of the fact that Ms. Torno resigned today, will that leave you guys looking for 2 seats up for election on the for Board of Selectmen? Would you be putting 2 seats of Board of Selectmen on the ballot in May?
Give me a chance to check with the election officials and see. Because I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if we have to. I believe if we've got time, we can put another selectman on. I don't see why not.
Interesting.
Let me just check on it and be sure, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How can you vote? There's 2
Looks
people.
like I'm gonna have a busy day tomorrow.
It looks like you are gonna have a busy day tomorrow.
No, but if they have to vote on
One
something,
the same person.
there isn't 3 people to vote.
That's the second place.
So I guess I have a couple more things if nobody else
This is
does.
pretty close to when you got elected, Paul. Remember that? It's almost the same. I don't know if we wouldn't have time to set the election up though. Actually, it'll have to either go on May or
No, we can have
be a special one.
we can have a special election before, and you don't have to follow.
Oh, no, you can't have one before, you don't have time.
Okay,
We may not have the time, is right. We're within short days there.
they shortened it up for whatever.
So whenever, if you guys want to start, I have a few more things, but I can wait until after Paul goes since he's here and we don't know if he'll be called out.
If you got some more stuff, bring it up. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. You're right. Paul, are you set to go?
I mean,
If I seem like I'm confused, I'll admit it. I am. Thank you.
That's okay, you're doing fine, that's why I gave you the
You're doing great,
opportunity.
Royce.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
Give
Filbert.
you more paperwork.
All right. Oh, the articles, the
These are
moratorium.
the actual articles for the marijuana,
Okay,
and Dale's already has those. She's
Okay.
already logged them in.
okay.
On the next page is the one for the lot size ordinance.
Yep, okay.
She has that one, we just verified that. Page after that is the moratorium.
Okay.
Just you have a copy of the one that we are looking at. Will
Okay.
be
This
put
is the
forward.
full, yeah, this is the full moratorium, the full article.
And then after that is all the prohibition ordinances that we are putting on the ballot as well.
Okay.
The only thing you do not have in your package right now is the lot size ordinance revised. We are still waiting for legal to come back on
Okay,
the last request we had.
but we can still put it on, we can vote to have it be put on the ballot.
Yes.
Now, let's see if I'm understanding this correctly. Can we vote? We should be able to vote now and to have it put on the ballot as is?
Those, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now we
the
can-
articles themselves are all set. There won't be any changes to the articles.
Right.
And I'll get the lot size one to you just as soon as I can get it back to you.
Okay, it shouldn't be too long. I don't
No, it's just a few minor changes that we had from the other night that I'm waiting for.
So what we're
confirmation.
looking at then is ballots that we'd like to put on the, I'm sorry, articles that we can put on the ballot in May. And I would like to move that we accept, these aren't, the problem is they're not, all right. They're not numbered, that would have been easy, but
Right, 'cause
I guess I'll just do it on separate motions. Are you ready? Okay. I make a motion that we enter on the ballot an article to say shall an ordinance entitled Town of Lebanon, Maine, ordinance establishing a moratorium on retail marijuana establishments and retail marijuana social clubs be enacted. Let's vote on it. You seconded it, so
Yeah.
that one's in. We voted yes?
Yes.
Okay. Secondly, an article, I move that we put on the ballot in May. An article stating shall an ordinance entitled Ordinance Prohibiting Retail Marijuana Stores be enacted.
Yep,
You second it?
yep.
You vote on it? Was that all in favor? Was that all in favor?
Yeah.
Okay. Third, I move that we put on the ballot an article stating, shall an ordinance entitled Ordinance Prohibiting Retail Marijuana Testing Facilities be enacted. Can we get a second? Okay,
Yeah.
and we're voting on it?
Yeah.
You should raise your hand when you vote. All right, thanks, Paul. Fourth,
Did you do something close?
yes, I did, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I called that number 2, I believe.
Okay. Just wanna make sure you didn't miss one.
I'm just going right down the list and then,
Yeah, just wanna make sure you didn't miss one, that's all.
okay, and fifth, I believe this is the fifth one, 1, 2, 3. The fourth one. I move that we place an article on the ballot that states, shall an ordinance entitled Ordinance Prohibiting Retail Marijuana Products, Manufacturing Facilities be enacted. You second it? What's the vote?
Yep.
Okay. And third, last on this page, I move that an article stating, shall an ordinance entitled Ordinance Prohibiting Retail Marijuana Cultivation Facilities be enacted. Do I have a second on that? And we vote. Okay. Looks like that one carried too. I further move that we accept an article that says, for the ballot, that says, shall a revised ordinance.
We don't know the size.
Oh, the lot size one,
Do you want to put it on the ballot though? And we can adjust the
Yeah, I wanna
size.
put this on the ballot, but we don't, they'll probably want the size.
They probably will. By the time we get through.
All right,
They're expecting an answer from legal with it this week, most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely. So I'd like to go ahead and allow it to go on the ballot.
go ahead.
All right.
All in
Aye.
favor?
No.
Get it ready, yes.
Please respect the
Give it a
chair.
hard time.
Doing a good job.
All right, I make a motion that an article stating, shall a revised ordinance entitled Lot Size Ordinance 2017 be enacted? That be put on the ballot. Okay. That's second? And what's our vote?
2.
Okay. How'd you do?
Good job. You can have it.
Thanks. Oh, all right, good. I better put that away somewhere in case somebody asks me something about it later. I won't be able to find it probably. Okay, next.
Yeah. Just a quick question,
Yeah.
what's the lot sizes being considered?
Oh, I don't know if they got all of it written out yet, Chip, that's why I
Are they
didn't really.
various? I mean, it used to be, 2 acres, right?
2 acres now, yeah.
Yes, but this is about,
Is this for, just for the marijuana side? Is
No,
that-
grandfathering for.
Waterfront?
It has nothing to do with marijuana.
can I answer that question?
Sorry. Well, you said you couldn't, so.
I did
I
not
did.
say I couldn't. This lot size ordinance is something that we need to add to what we already have. We've got a problem with, oh, Ben, would you like to go into that a little bit?
Just the quick answer?
It's hard it's hard to get a quick answer on this.
Yeah, we're having a hard time finding an attested copy of a 2 acres. So the whole thing's kind of a problem, but your 2 acres is still being the standard lot.
Yes.
But this will include a non-conforming lot size, which anything under that 2 acres, which is several in town, including the waterfront, technically are illegal lots.
And so it's grandfathers them in. So it makes everything legal.
Yeah, that's what that's all about.
Can I ask a question about that?
And there is some questions on the footages on them at this point still.
1971.
Yeah,
They have to settle these questions with legal before we can go further with this anyway.
right. I understand everything you're saying, but the land was sold 50 years ago as a buildable lot. So that's where the grandfather thing kicks in?
Can answer that for you.
Sure.
Anything prior to 1971, 73 for the town's original ordinance, but realistically 71 for the state. As long as it's a lot as of record, you know,
Yeah.
then it would also be a buildable lot, potentially if they meet all their setbacks and everything that they need to meet for codes. As long as you can meet all your setbacks and then, I think your question's more regarding waterfront.
Yes.
Okay, so in that situation, you're not gonna meet your setbacks for septic, so it will get thrown to the state DEP. And if the DEP comes back, and says, hey, yes, you can do it, but you have to do it this way,
Right. and that's-
it's not something the codes could answer on that.
Correct, and that's, I
DEP.
mean, people can do it, because I got a special guy that came in and went to the state to put a septic in.
Yeah.
It's a bigger issue because even like all these past years, appeals board, you know, has been approving things, because they're supposed to be enforcing the ordinances, but there's a gap there in the ordinance. So this will allow even appeals to be, variances applied to that.
But the reason this is all coming up is because you changed it from 42,000 to 100,000, correct, for waterfront?
No, that's not the reason.
No?
No.
But it just seems like if you're paying 100,000 on waterfront property, you should be able to build on it, but.
I agree with that.
Me too. Thank you.
Well, this is just a process to get this.
Yeah, that's my
Roll it
retirement
out.
money.
Any other questions?
Oh, Lord.
Go ahead, Deb.
Thank you, Royce. Do you have many people in town who have worked for the town for 20 years? Like long-term people who have worked for the town for 20 years?
You got the scowl because I really don't know.
Interesting. So is there something
I
that
mean,
the
there might
town
have
does
been-
for them
there might
after
have been a
20
year
years?
ago, But I don't think there is now.
So yes, there is, but is there something the town does for them, like gives them a plaque or a gold watch or a pat on the head or a
pen?
mention during meetings or something?
I think generally speaking, they've gotten a thank you from someone in town.
We dedicate the town report.
You dedicate the town report to somebody who's been working for 20 years as a town employee.
Do we?
Next
In good
year
stead.
we put Ryan Gray,
Oh,
because we put Tom this year.
okay.
Right? So interesting. John, would you like to tell them who's been working for 20 years in May for the town of Lebanon?
You can go ahead, Joe.
So in May, Natasha will be a member of the fire and EMS for 20 years. Her anniversary comes up in May. So 20 years is a long time, and she saved a lot of lives in this town. And I thought it was worth giving her a mention of some way. And if
You
that,
had a loaded question you were gonna throw at me.
you knew I had a loaded question, but that's okay. It's loaded for a reason. You're the selectman. You're the ones that can answer that.
You're the head select person.
At this point, I don't know of any plans that have been made to do any such thing, but I'll look into it. I'll do the best I can. It's gonna be on my list of things to do.
On your list.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that's honest anyway, but I just don't think we ought to let 20 years worth of service go by without marking it in some way.
Well, I've got to agree that anyone that puts in 20 years is continuous service,
Yeah, they deserve a thank you, don't you think?
at least.
20 years isn't enough.
It's not enough.
enough?
No.
Usually that happens when you retire.
Yeah, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Usually not 20 years. I've
Oh
never
my
seen
God.
anyone get
Well, I don't
fired for
know.
20 years.
Chief just got full retirement out of Rochester after 20 years, so
I got a plaque
what do
from
we
the
give our
IRS.
people? We
He
give them a
retired.
handshake and hello?
That's what
The
Becky
board-
said,
Is the
retirement.
border still at the San Falls
retired.
River?
I'm sorry?
Is that border still, state
Yeah,
border
he's got
still at
private
San Falls
class and all that
River?
kind of stuff.
At retirement's what I said.
Oh, but we don't offer a retirement package.
Right.
Well, retirement's an act. I'm not saying a package. I'm just saying that people get a plaque or something if they retire or they have like 40 years or 50 years. They don't get it for 20 years. I've never
Really?
given anyone a plaque.
Federal
for
government
20
gives
years.
it to you for 20 years.
Right? IRS gives it to you for 15 years, right?
Yeah, they gave it to me for 20.
Please, yeah, 20 years of service is a long time. Mhm. So, just because Mr. Thompson wasn't in here when I asked you before, I did ask them about the precedent that was set in letting people make payments, and they told me that this was different. So that was their answer. Just because I had
I told you
asked,
that-
I asked him.
I
So
told you that I preferred not to discuss this tonight.
no, but Mr. Nadu said this was a different circumstance, and so that's what I just answered Mr. Thompson, because I had asked him earlier and he didn't know. So that's it for me.
Okay, you want a motion? You got it.
Then I'll make it. I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting. Oh,
Did you get your papers?
that was all in fun and truly
I
serious.
got them, yeah.
Okay. All right, have fun.
Thank you.